You've never held eye contact like this with anyone, not your partner, not your boss in the middle of a presentation, not even someone across the table on a first date, but your dog, 7 a.m. backyard. They're mid-squat, completely exposed, and locked onto your face like it's the only thing that exists. No hesitation, no embarrassment, just a steady, unbroken stare. And you look away, check your phone, pretend there's something fascinating about that tree in the corner. Most people assume it's simple. Your dog feels vulnerable. They look at you for protection. End of story. That explanation sounds right. It's clean, comforting. But behavioral neuroscience tells a completely different story, because if this were just about safety, they wouldn't stare. They'd glance, quick check, confirm you're there, move on. That's not what happens. They hold your gaze, study your face, stay with it the entire time, like they're reading something you don't even realize you're showing. So the real question isn't, why is your dog looking at you? It's this: what are they trying to learn from your face? At the exact moment they can least afford to get it wrong. Let's start with the part that most people get wrong. If your dog were just looking for protection, this would be over in a second. A quick glance, a simple check. You're there. Good. That's how animals verify safety. Fast, efficient, minimal attention. But that's not what your dog is doing. They don't glance. They lock in. They hold your gaze like they're waiting for something to update. Like your face is a screen, and whatever shows up next determines what happens to them. And that difference matters more than it seems. Because a glance asks one question, are you there? But a stare asks a completely different one, what do you know that I don't? Those are not the same question, not even close. One is about your presence. The other is about your information. And the moment you realize that, the entire situation shifts. This isn't your dog checking for safety. This is your dog reading you in real time, while their body is locked in a position they can't escape from. Which means whatever they're getting from your face isn't optional, it's critical. In 2013, a researcher named Isabella Merola ran an experiment that looked almost too simple to matter. She put dogs in a room, added something unfamiliar, a fan with plastic streamers attached. Not dangerous, just uncertain. Then she watched one thing, where the dog looked before making a decision. Every single dog did the same thing, before moving, before approaching, before backing away. They turned and looked at their owner's face. Not the object, not the room, your face. But here's where it gets interesting. It wasn't just that they looked, it was what happened next. If the owner's face was relaxed, maybe even slightly positive, the dog approached the object. If the owner showed tension, hesitation, even subtly, the dog backed off. Same object, same room, different decision. And the only variable that changed was you. A separate team at the University of São Paulo found something even deeper. Dogs don't just read your face, they cross-check it with your voice, matching expression and tone across two different senses in real time, which means in that moment outside, your dog isn't just looking at you, they're running a full behavioral analysis on you before deciding how to feel. Now, this is the part where some of you start to feel a little uneasy, because your dog doesn't do this. They don't look at your face. They turn away, walk off, maybe even disappear behind a bush like they want complete privacy. And now you're wondering, does that mean something's wrong? It doesn't, but it does mean something different is happening. Here's the problem. Not every dog learned that being watched during vulnerable moments is safe. During house training, often without you even realizing it, some dogs form a simple association. Being watched leads to being interrupted. Maybe they were corrected mid-action. Maybe there was tension. Maybe just timing. But their brain logged it, so instead of checking your face, they remove you from the equation entirely. No audience, no risk. Other dogs, they're just wired differently. Some are social processors, others are private operators. The same way some people leave the bathroom door open, and others lock it every single time. That's not a trust issue, it's a strategy. Now zoom out for a second, because this behavior didn't start in your backyard. It started thousands of years ago. Across social species, researchers have documented something called sentinel behavior. One individual watches while the others are exposed. In meerkats, it's almost military. One climbs to a high point, stands completely still, scanning the horizon. The rest keep their heads down, focused on foraging, completely vulnerable. And here's the rule. If the sentinel stops watching, everything stops. No one stays exposed without a lookout. Now bring that back to your dog. That moment in the yard, mid-squat, completely committed, unable to move quickly. That's exposure, real exposure. And you're not just standing there. In their brain, you've been assigned a role. You are the sentinel. You didn't announce it. You didn't train it, but you showed up. You stayed. You faced outward. And in their system, that's a signal. It means someone is watching the world, so I don't have to. This isn't your dog asking for protection. This is your dog deploying you as part of a survival system older than your relationship itself. And then there's the part that sounds almost absurd until you realize it's real. A team led by Vlastimil Hart at the Czech University of Life Sciences spent 2 full years tracking how dogs position their bodies when they defecate. Nearly 2,000 events recorded, thousands more observations. What they found was unexpected. Dogs don't just squat randomly. They preferentially align their bodies along the Earth's north-south magnetic axis, but only when the magnetic field is stable, which means in that exact moment, your dog's brain is already doing something incredibly demanding. They're calibrating orientation using the planet itself. Balance, posture, environmental sensitivity, all running at once. And on top of that, they're still watching you. Think about what that implies. When a brain is under load, attention becomes selective. It has to. There's only so much processing bandwidth available, so if your dog is choosing, consciously or not, to allocate part of that limited attention to your face, that's not casual. That's priority. Out of everything happening in that moment, internal strain, external awareness, even geomagnetic alignment, your expression is the variable they can't afford to ignore. So here's what that moment actually is. Your dog isn't just standing there. They're balancing in a position they can't escape from. They're aligning their body with the Earth's magnetic field. They're scanning the environment for threat. They're decoding your facial expression. And they've assigned you a role in that system, all at the same time. That's 5 different processes running in parallel. And out of all of them, they chose to focus on you. That's not random. That's not habit. That's priority. So the next time your dog locks eyes with you in that moment, don't look away. Not because it's some bonding ritual, not because you're supposed to have a moment, but because now you understand the question they're asking. They're not asking for comfort. They're not asking for reassurance. They're asking for information. And the answer is your face. Calm, neutral, unbothered. That's all they need. No words, no movement, no reaction. Because to them, that stare, that's not awkward. That's not random. That's one of the highest forms of trust your dog can give you. If this changed how you see that moment, subscribe and tell me this. Does your dog look at you or look away?